The Frontier Cowboy belongs in a series called Lines in Space, which is a pretty playful series that I've done over a number of years. The subject matter for Cowboy probably came from having seen Peter Davison, who is a performance artist in Boulder, a dancer, working with the character of a cowboy in one of his pieces, and it was a very beautiful rendition, and sort of launched the viewer into a more existential view of what a cowboy means. A lot to do with freedom and prowess and confidence, but also there's a certain humility that we associate with the general stereotype, and those captured my imagination. So those were in there, and some were in one plane, and I really wanted to see how three-dimensional we could get. If you were drawing with a sparkler in the air, there were some still shots, long exposures of Picasso drawing with a flashlight, and the Centaur is one that he would do that way. Sort of an arbitrary image to most viewers, probably it had whatever meaning to him. Formally speaking, that was what I was after there with the cowboy. I think what we do as artists is bring people to their senses. My yoga teacher used to say, come to your senses, literally, and I think that's what we're about. Whether it's familiar, a new look at something familiar, deep into a flower like O'Keeffe would do, then you come away from a painting, you see something familiar in a different way. Or if it's abstract work, we're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, and again, what's familiar. So when you're confronted with something that's unfamiliar, if you don't right off dismiss it, you have the opportunity to ask yourself questions. What am I seeing? What does it mean? What am I looking at? Who is this? And it comes back to who am I? So it's a function that brings us into the present moment. I like sculpture because you can touch it, because they're in real space, but to the cowboy in particular invites the viewer to walk around it, to get, you're led to see different perspectives all the way around the piece. And touching it's fine with me. The piece is about space. It's a line in space. So you can walk into the space where the cowboy is, and I think that's kind of a nice thing. Miro was one of my most favorite sculptors. He was also a painter, but I saw a piece of his, a sculpture of his in the Art Museum in Chicago once, and it was a bird, a very abstracted bird, it was called. You wouldn't ever necessarily think bird when you saw it, but it was bear-like. You wanted to just wrap yourself around this thing or sit on it. While we were in the museum, there were only one or two other people in the gallery at the time, and I knew the guard was back there, but I just thought, it's going to be okay. And I walked up and I put my arms around this thing, and the guard let me have a moment, and he came up and stood next to me and said, "Ma'am, please don't touch the sculpture." But he got it.